Looks like it's 5:30 p.m. Again, Adam Wason, Public Works Director, City of Bloomington, Indiana. Tuesday, October 12th, 5:30 p.m. for the regularly scheduled Board of Public Works meeting. I'll turn it over to President Dana Hankey.
Thank you. Alrighty, I call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Public Works this October 12th, 2021. First up, we have messages from board members. Do we have any messages from the board tonight?
Just wanted to say I hope everyone that has had an experience with COVID is recovering and that everyone is back. And thank you for everything you do.
Thanks, Beth. Next up, we have petitions and remonstrances. This is an opportunity for members of the public to give comment on anything that's not on the agenda tonight. Are there any members of the public that would like to give a petition or a remonstrance?
Does not look to be.
Alrighty, I don't see any either. Next up is the consent agenda. On the consent agenda, we have the approval of minutes from September 28th, 2021. Resolution 2021-53, declaration of ITS surplus. The service agreement with Kone Inc. for Walnut Street Garage Elevator Services. A noise permit for the Garth Brooks cover band at Switchyard Park, and approval of payroll. Any questions or comments on anything from the board on consent agenda?
No, I don't have any questions.
Any public comment on consent agenda tonight?
I don't see anything in the chat and I don't see any raised hands.
Alrighty. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Nice, second.
And I'll call for a vote. Kyla Cox-Deckard,
Yes.
Beth Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Dana Hankey, yes. Motion passes. Next up is new business.
Hey, Dana, if we could real quick before new business, I apologize. I'm going to go without video to make sure my audio stays strong. But this is Adam Wason again, Public Works Director. I wanted to make note, we did have an item removed from tonight's agenda on an appeal of, was that Title 6 or Title 12?
It was Title 6, I believe.
Title 6, yeah. So it was a Title 6 appeal. That item was removed from the agenda. It was determined in the board work session and with city legal and hand staff that there had not been a warning issued to that property and that the property owner had taken care of the item right away after it was brought to their attention. And so the board found that it was prudent to ask that that be turned into a warning instead of an actual notice of violation with a fine. We spoke with the property owner and everyone is aware of what occurred there. So just wanted to make note of that for the public record.
Thank you, Adam. Okay, next up is new business. And the first item is the right-of-way dedication along East 14th Street and North Dunn Street associated with the standard at Bloomington Development.
This is Emily Herr with the engineering department. The property owner, 350 and 450 East 14th Street, the standard at Bloomington LLC, is dedicating additional right-of-way along East 14th Street and North Dunn Street so that the right-of-way encompasses new, wider sidewalks as outlined in the transportation plan. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Emily, when will the dedication take place?
It would take place as soon as the board approves it, and then as soon as it's recorded.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Any public comment?
I do not see any. Oh, there's a chat. Oh, no public comments on anything I see for this item.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the right-of-way dedication along East 14th Street and North Dunn Street associated with the standard at Bloomington Development.
Nice, second.
And I'll call for a vote. Kyla Cox Deckard,
Yes.
Beth Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Dana Hankey, yes. Motion passes. Next up is amendment number 2 to the LPA consulting contract with Lockmueller Group for the 17th Street Monroda Grant Multimodal Improvements Project.
Good evening, this is Neil Copper with the Engineering Department. The 7th Street project constructs multi-use path on the north side of 17th Street from Monroe Street to Grant Street. It also replaces the traffic signal at the intersection of 17th and Madison/Kinzer and provides other multimodal safety improvements throughout the corridor. Lockmueller Group is currently under contract for preliminary engineering services. This addendum adds services for phase 2 environmental site assessments. It also decreases the amount of subsurface utility engineering, such that the total contract not to exceed amount of $839,745 remains unchanged. Staff has reviewed and supports this amendment, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Neil, I thank you for the information this afternoon. And I just wonder if there will be an education campaign, since this is a first in Bloomington and a rather new experience for a lot of people that live here. So do we plan on doing a lot of education so the public knows what to expect and how to drive that area?
Beth, are you talking about 7th Street or the multi-use path?
Multi-use, yeah, path. Mm-hmm.
So this is the 17th.
Oh, that's the 17th.
Street.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I thought I was looking at the other one. So.
Next item.
Yeah, next item, right.
Mhm.
Sorry, Neil. Bit confusing.
No problem.
Any public comment on this item number 2 under new business? Seeing none. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve amendment number 2 to LPA consulting contract with Lockmueller Group for the 7th Street Monroda Grant Multimodal Improvement Project.
And I second.
I'll call for a vote. Kyla Cox Deckard,
Yes.
Beth Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Dana Hankey, yes. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 3 is change orders numbers 1 and 3 for the 7th Street Protected Bike Lane Project with Milestone Contractors.
Good evening, this is Roy Ayton with the Engineering Department. This project was awarded on May 11th, 2021 to Milestone Contractors. The notice to proceed was issued this spring and work began in early April. This contract included the installation of a protected bike lane along 7th Street from the Beeline Trail to North Woodlawn Avenue. The original contract for this project was $2,569,500. Change order 1 will deduct $1,789.98 from the contract as being presented to adjust the quantities for the concrete bus stops, curbs, sidewalks, and pavement patching on the project. Change order number 3 is being presented, and it will add $1,390.67 for additional work that was required for the relocation of the programming of the bicycle counters on the project. Total for the change orders will result in a deduct of the contract of $399.31. And funding for this project is provided by our 2018 Bicentennial Bond Series C and a $150,000 contribution from the City of Bloomington Utilities for the installation of the rain gardens. I'm available for any questions.
I guess this is my appropriate time to ask a question about educational outreach to the community for this new project.
Yes, I'll take an attempt, and maybe Neil will help me out here. I know that we have done public meetings before the project began. We've been in contact with all the adjacent businesses, neighbors throughout the project. We've sent out letters and we've had a lot of conversations. We've done a public service announcement last week just to alert everyone of the new traffic patterns that are involved on the project. And we'll continue to work with all the adjacent property owners throughout the rest of the project as it continues through November.
Good, that's helpful. Neil, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I'll just note that I think now that construction is nearing completion and people can see it, some people are paying more attention to it than maybe they did, from public meetings and things. And we're starting to get some of those operational questions. Outreach and education is largely handled by the Planning and Transportation Department that we've been working very closely with. So we'll be following up with them to try to figure out what kind of continued outreach we can do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any public comment on this item?
I don't see anything.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I move that we approve change orders number 1 and number 3 for the 7th Street Protected Bike Lane project with Milestone Contractors.
Nice second.
And I'll call for a vote. Kyla Cox-Deckard,
Yes.
Beth Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Dana Henke, yes. Motion passes. Thank you. Next up are change orders number 1 and 2 for the 17th and Dunn Intersection Improvements Project with E&B Paving LLC.
Good evening, Matt Smellis with the Engineering Department. Change order number 1 is for Class X excavation, drill shaft foundations, conduit installation, and various work items that are related to utility issues on the project. Change order number 2 will add 14 days to the contractual completion date. These days are being added due to utility delays that were encountered during the project. Change order number 1 would add $46,498.52 to the contract, making the new contract sum $1,324,423.52. The project is funded through a GO bond, and change order number 1 will be funded through Engineering's General Fund. I can answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Any public comment on this item?
I don't see
Seeing none.
anything.
Yeah, thank you. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve change orders number 1 and number 2 for the 17th and Dunn Intersection Improvements Project with E&B Paving LLC.
Nice second.
And I'll call for a vote. Kyla Cox-Deckard,
Yes.
Beth Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Dana Henke, yes. Motion passes. Next up is the contract with Harold Fish Inc. for HVAC replacements and improvements at the Waldron Arts Center.
Yep, again, Adam Wason, Public Works Director. Sorry, I'm going to keep my video off to try to keep my audio strong, but on behalf of JD Boroff, our Operations and Facilities Director, this is a request to approve a contract with Harold Fish Incorporated for HVAC replacements and improvements at the historic John Waldron Arts Center. It's five natural gas furnaces, 5 air-cooled condensing units, 6 ionized air cleaning units, and 4 energy recovery ventilators that will increase air exchange in the building. So we did an RFP that was issued and advertised. We had 2 contractors attend the pre-proposal meeting, and then only 1 firm submit HFI on the proposal. And their proposal was for $47,800, which was in line with our expected costs on the project, and asking for your approval.
Thank you. Any questions on this item from the board? Any public comment?
Don't see anything.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the contract with Harold Fish Inc. for HVAC replacement and improvements at the historic John Waldron Arts Center.
Nice second.
And I'll call for a vote. Kyla Cox-Deckard,
Yes.
Beth Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Dana Henke, yes. Motion passes. Next up is supplement number 1 to the contract with Ann Chris LLC for flood damage repairs at BPD.
Again, Adam Weason, Public Works Director, on behalf of JD Borough, our Facilities and Operations Manager. This is a supplement to the contract with Ancris LLC for the repairs at the Bloomington Police Department headquarters in their basement that were flood damaged in the July flooding. We had an original contract that did a lot of the flooring and some of the wall work. But then we also decided we wanted to do some additional repainting and things just for while we were in doing all this other work. So asking for an additional just under $11,000 on the project to do more drywall and work, including whiteboarding and shelves, wall prep and painting. And this is been reviewed and request your approval.
So the $11,000 is what will be out of pocket. The rest will be covered by insurance, but the increase to the contract is like 29,000 and some.
Oh,
right?
yes, sorry.
Okay, just
Yes,
wanted to point that out.
I forgot to mention, yes,
Okay,
you are correct. The insurance is going to repair the others. This is an addition because we're doing work down there already. Yeah.
great, thank you. Any other questions from the board? Any public comment or questions? Okay, I'll call for a vote.
A motion?
A motion, sorry, yep.
I move that we approve supplement number 1 to contract with Ancris LLC for flood damage repairs at Bloomington Police Department.
I second.
Now I'll call for a vote. Kyle Cox-Deckard,
Yes.
Beth Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Dana Hankey, yes, motion passes. Cookie also.
Cookie agrees
yes.
also.
Okay, next up, staff reports and other business.
Just briefly tonight, happy to report we're back to full operation at the sanitation division with our recycling services added back in after taking the week off. Still have, so we've been able to pick up back full service and with little issue over the last week or so. So appreciate the community's patience as we got back to that. And otherwise, no other reports right now.
Great, thank you. Next up, we have approval of claims. Were there any questions from the board on claims tonight?
I just had one really small question. On page 21, there was a reference to, I think it's a ServPro payment for water damage at the traffic building. What is the traffic building?
The traffic building is the little known building that is it's on Allen Street between southbound Walnut, between Walnut where it's two-way there and Morton Street. So Allen between Walnut and Morton. It's a little old limestone building that I think it might have been a waterworks building at some point in time. But anyway, it's right along the stormwater channel there, and we use it for the traffic, what used to be the traffic division of Public Works before traffic was merged with the street department. And so they use that. It's where the paint truck lives. It's where a bunch of old light posts live. It's where we did a lot of parking meter repair down there. So it's just a small building down there off of Allen Street that we still utilize for different functions.
Okay, cool. Well, I guess I'm glad that it's little known because I didn't know and I felt out of the loop.
Yeah.
So thanks for that explanation.
I know where it is. Adam, I had another question.
Sure.
Account number 52210, claim 4045. It's on microchips. It was $4,370.23. After microchips and parens was 800. Does that mean they bought 800 microchips? Is that money or?
I'm guessing that would be a quantity number, Beth. I'm not, I don't know why. Well, actually, would we? I think 800 would sound a little high, but maybe they bought a couple years worth of inventory because it was good pricing or something.
Mhm.
Any animal that comes into our care, whether it's due to a release or somebody turning their animal over, us picking up an animal on the streets that's either lost or abandoned, we microchip every dog that comes into our or any animal that comes into our custody. So I'm guessing 800 would, over the course of a year or two with cats and dogs, probably be about right.
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen microchips, and I thought, I better
Yep.
check that because that seems a little high for just.
And I'm trying to pull it up. Sorry, do you remember which page
Okay.
that was, Beth? Just so I can make sure.
It's the
It's
first
page
page.
1.
Mhm.
Oh, page 1. It's easier to answer the questions about the celery, carrot, and cilantro purchases with the animal
Yeah.
shelter than the microchips. I would guess. Okay, yeah. With that being in parentheses, I'm guessing that's a quantity,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
at that price point, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep. Okay.
But if it's anything different, I'll follow up.
That's all right. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, any public comment on claims? Seeing none. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve claims $2,548,416.50.
And I second.
And I'll call for a vote. Kyla Cox Deckard,
Yes.
Beth Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Dana Hankey, yes, motion passes. And there is nothing else, so I will call for adjournment.
Thank you. Enjoy this beautiful evening. It's wonderful.
You too.
Thanks.
Be safe,
All right.
everyone.
Thanks,
Have a
everybody.
great night, everyone.